This is Rulinda Mtsinga. Unfortunately, this is not a get ready with me videos. We're talking about quota systems today with...
My name is Kazaja Shvaya, but everyone calls me Casey.
And I'm Andile Magunje.
And we're not here because of the quota system. So what is a quota system? Maybe someone who's watching this may not even understand. This is what we call affirmative action movements, where we stipulate out of 100 podcast producers, we want 30 of them to be girls. Out of 100 prefects per district, we want 20 of them to be girls. Out of 20 junior council members, we want 10 of them to be girls, or 5 of them to be girls. So those are quota systems that say we are intentionally creating room for girls in these spaces. It can be at school, it can be at our places like junior council, junior parliament, it can be SRC, can even be in our religious spaces like at church. So what are some of the positives that you have seen from quota systems, Kutsi?
Oh, okay. First of all, at least it gives you the opportunity to actually voice out your opinions as girls. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the main one.
Mm-hmm. And also, it allows for a balance because institutions and certain organizations have realized that sometimes there is no equal distribution of roles and responsibilities within their systems. So they try to diversify the personnel that are in their workspaces, mm-hmm.
In
the schools and all of that by saying, okay, we want girls in this, we want a certain criteria mm-hmm. in something.
Mm-hmm. So we definitely celebrate quota systems for increasing the participation of girls, for opening the room for girls to enter certain spaces that they were not in before. Yes, it also helps to close the inequality gap, to say, hey, at least we have girls who are starting lower now than previously. It also encourages girls to take up spaces that were previously male dominated,
Yes.
To know that, well, UZ is taking 10 law school students and they say they want at least 3 females, so I can have a space there, or I can be a lawyer as well. It encourages that kind of discourse and encourages girls to at least enter into these rooms. It also helps girls to identify their areas of key interest,
Yes.
because if you live in a society that has always said when you grow up you should become a nurse or a teacher, when you hear of a quota system in medicine, of a quota system in engineering, as you are going through your high school, your primary school, you're thinking, I can be an engineer as well, and we do celebrate those things, and we're grateful for such systems that have been put into place. But what is wrong with these quota systems? Because we've had them for a while now, but inequalities are still there. We still have a junior mayoress who seems as if she's just accompanying the junior mayor. What's wrong with quota systems?
Okay, so I feel like it's mainly with the patrons. Okay, let's look at firstly the child participation principle, which every child has got the right to in Zimbabwe, right? So fine, you have that right to child participation, but then when it comes to you being in an organization like the junior parliament or the junior council, I do not know why it is the way it is, but half of the females, you are just there to be seen and you really do not have a voice as such. So the rest of the females out there who you stand for as the first child or as the MP for that particular constituency, if the females don't see you doing any work, they really don't think that they have the right to do any work either. So if the leader is not leading by example, then what are we following after? So I feel like that is one of the reasons why the equality that is supposed to be there is really not being seen. That's the problem with the quota system. It's just there, but it's not doing anything.
So you're saying it's perpetuating tokenism and trophy treatment.
Exactly.
We have Casey in junior council.
Yeah.
She looks pretty. We have Casey in junior council. Okay, and then
what?
But the girls who enter these spaces, don't they have the desire to do something?
They do, and I feel like what you guys are saying, the quota system is just like a lot of times it's a decorative thing. It's something that organizations and companies use to just say, okay, we're also ticking in that register of gender equal spaces, but it's not actually there deep inside the organizations, and it's not embedded in the people's hearts. Also, girls really want to take part, but a lot of the times you find that there's a lot of skeletons in the closet. You walk into a certain space, for example, like Kutsi said, we were both in junior council. You get into junior council, there's supposed to be a junior mayoress and a junior mayor who perform equal tasks, as they say. But then we realize that when it now comes to attending events, delivering speeches, the junior mayor is the one who is called more than you. The senior council will call the junior mayor. The mayor is going where, and you finish your term in office without even going to Harare, without even going to another city. You're just there as an ornament. You're just there to represent something that is not there. So girls really do have something to say, but exactly how we can be able to ensure that these quota systems are effective, I think is something else, is another discussion to feast on.
Also, I feel like if we as children were really given the opportunity to show what we want in these powers as males and females, right? I think we would do that. But then it's with the adults who really are the guardians in these spaces. Fine, you're the guardian, but you are not letting me, the girl, do what I'm supposed to do. No, you believe that just because in your generation the boy was the one who did this, so the boy in this generation should do that as well. So they don't want to let us be the 2Ks that they say we are.
So you're saying that a quota system is like a door that has been created in this house that we call toxic patriarchy, and it has the door is colored pink, so girls can get into this door, but they're still getting into the same house of toxic patriarchy. The systems in place have not been changed. The people who govern these spaces have not been changed. No proper policy has been drafted to make sure that these spaces can accommodate girls. For example, you're letting in girls into SRC, into junior parliament, into junior council, to be governed and bounded by constitutions that were crafted by boys when it was still a boys' club. So the constitution will say the mayor is going to deliver a speech at the opening of this new children's home. The mayor is going to deliver a speech on the day of the African child celebrations. The mayor is going to go to Harare to sit in the council hearing of who knows what, and has no real provision for the girls. But do you think that this was an oversight by legislators, or this is deliberate?
This is highly deliberate. It's highly deliberate because
calling people out now.
Because even when you look at, we're gonna keep referring to junior council, because even in junior council, we once wanted the constitution to be changed. Exactly.
I'm getting the insights.
We wanted the constitution to be changed, but we were not allowed to do that. We were threatened from doing that. And it's so crazy how there's a lot of women who are actually in support of this negativity that is going around about this whole patriarchy, and how quota systems are actually embodying the whole patriarchy idea. And they feel like there's nothing wrong with it. As girls, there's nothing wrong with you being, an assistant, with you being the tea lady.
At least you have this.
At least you have this
when we were growing up.
But it's not like that. It's not supposed to be like that, because as women and girls, we deserve more. There is nothing that actually makes us less than
so this
our
has
counterparts.
Been a clever way of hiding shortfalls in the system. I don't think that quota systems address the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is toxic patriarchy. It's closing out girls from certain spaces. It's thinking that girls are not enough, girls cannot perform certain duties and certain tasks, and that the only things that girls can aspire to be are the ones that are handed to them by their male counterparts, and that is not true. What we really need is a complete revolutionization of society, a complete change to say that when we are going to school, we have equal resources. When we are at home, we have equal time to do our homework. This also goes back to how our home systems are set up, the gender roles that we have. If I'm going to be doing dishes, I don't mind, but you're going to cook. So we're going to have enough time to do our schoolwork so that come exam time, we have at least the same opportunities, we have a 50-50 chance. Not to say that you're going to keep all these inequalities in the system. You're going to keep the same gender roles that mean that I will nurture my young sisters, my young brothers, I will fetch water, I will cook, I will do the dishes, I will iron your uniform for you as my brother, and then I will do my homework, and then I'll become a trophy patriarchy princess in some quota system. So the real change that we need should come from grassroots level. I think we all agree on that, and not just creating this tokenism and trophy system.
You know what, talking of that, I realize how half of the population has got some very powerful ladies in places of power, right? Now. Yes. But consider this. From a very young age, you're the one who's doing the dishes, you're washing, you're cooking, you're doing everything. Yet you still ace it at school, right? But the guys, they don't do anything at home, right? But then they go to school and they have the very same grade as you. So imagine a girl who is having the very same time to study as a boy.
And the resources.
The amount of success that comes out of there is just mind-blowing. And I cannot wait for the day when that is actually embraced. I mean, like, I noticed as a girl child at home, if my sister is doing something and my brother just passes by, no, nothing is wrong with it. He can just jump over her while it's just...
I can tell what you're talking about.
Yes, she's sweeping, but you're just jumping over her. Yet you are the same young boy who's supposed to be sweeping because your sister is older, first of all, and she's got things that she's supposed to be doing. The only thing you're doing is playing soccer instead of coming to actually help her. You know, like... Seriously, some of these things have to be dismantled at a very young stage, because that is when we grow up and get males who will come in a company and tell you that I will not listen to a CEO who's a female. Just because of that.
And really, quota systems are downplaying our own economies. They're downplaying our own capabilities as countries and all of that. So, you know, it's not really about, we shouldn't focus on having competitions as gender, as male, who's doing it, who's male or female. But it's mostly about focusing on the main goals. Why then do we have all of these SDGs, all of these Vision 2030s, when we're going to
follow them?
When we're going to keep on moving with these quota systems that are so unjust? We're really downplaying ourselves.
I think they also undermine the capabilities of girls, because when you enter a space where you have been placed there and not elected one into that office, or you didn't actually work to get there and it was merit, you wrote an exam and you passed more than the other person, and someone is just, you know, saying, welcome, come in, it's undermining the capabilities of girls and the things that girls can do. So when we enter these spaces, the males that we find, they look down upon us. Not to say that people who are beneficiaries of quota systems are not capable, but they're not even given the opportunity to prove that they are capable or that they can do anything. And unfortunately, because we don't have change at a fundamental level of society, this is the only thing that we have going on for us right now. But I think that we've had this in place for such a long time, and we can see that it's not addressing the root cause of the problem. And until we address the root cause of the problem, we're not going to have any positive change or any meaningful change, because girls can do it, girls can take up spaces. I think that I would rather have a system that says, well, you can't be the next minister of such and such in junior parliament because you're not capable of doing this. You can't be delivering speeches at the junior council meetings because you're not a good public speaker, because you're not articulate enough, because you're not eloquent. Maybe go and learn that, and then you can come back, as opposed to basing it on a gender thing, because it's not a gender war. It reduces the genuine outcries that girls have, and makes it seem as if all girls think they're better than boys. We don't care. We just care about our rights, and girls' rights are human rights well.
It's just a fundamental, basic notion that we're also humans. We have to be listened to.
Yeah, and you know, it's so frustrating how, despite there's so many women who then go above and beyond and persevere and still make it to the top top despite these unjust quota systems. But when they get there, people start saying, oh, she slept her way to the top. Oh, she did this. Women are not then given credit for the work that they put in for certain things.
What about men and boys who have been gatekeeping positions by using sex? Because we know what happens in these executive boards in schools at advanced level, in high school and in universities, where boys gatekeep their positions by sleeping with whosoever and whosoever so that they can shame them in public. We think that boys are the ones who are doing this more than girls
exactly
are in any case, but once a girl does, it's like, oh wow, we know what she did and things like that. But that isn't the chat. What we regret is a system that then predetermines the position of girls. Because if you get into junior council, for example, or the prefect's executive board because of a quota system, it means that in that constitution you don't have real voting rights, you don't have real veto power because you're not elected in there, or you didn't use the traditional system of getting in, which means you don't have a voice. And if you don't have a voice, you can only aspire as far as being the secretary. You can write notes, you can smile, you can be the one that we say, can we, our girl from so and so, and then you stand up and everyone claps. And you notice how people who are beneficiaries of quota systems are usually known as pretty. Wow, the junior mayor is, did you see the heels that she wears? Did you see the heels that the head girl wears? Did you see how beautiful she is? It's rarely ever the chat to hear someone say the junior mayor is handsome. It's usually he's well spoken, he's a leader, he is strong, he's very articulate. But we look at other things that are not necessary, that are not important to what will be the cause before we can look at the capabilities of girls. Not that we're saying there's anything wrong with people being pretty. I mean, we're here, but we're saying that there's so much more that girls can do. And because of these quota systems, girls in positions of power cannot help the girls who are not in positions of power. For example, if you have an SRC board and you are there because of the quota system, how are you going to advocate for menstrual health for other girls if you don't have a say, if you don't have a real voice, if you don't have real voting power? How are you going to implement policy change within all these systems if you don't even have the right to access the pen that can write these policy changes?
I really, okay, first of all, let's talk about something which you mentioned before, this thing whereby you have gotten into the position of power, but you really do not have any means of voice or power, really. So what they're gonna do is that, in as much as you have the experience, as you got there with your marks, with your brain, with your hard work, they're going to be like, you know what, I did my best to get you here. So what you can just do, is a favor, just head to my room. And the moment you then head to that room is the moment they find a way to actually degrade you. Because the reason why females feel like it's necessary for me to actually go to his room is because they feel like they didn't get there with their own work.
I feel like you owe them something.
Yes. So then I feel like, first of all, that's actually what we have to deal with before we move on to deal with everything else. What was the question again?
Which question? There's a lot of questions. Just a hidden topic.
Okay, so I think it's really mainly all about you as a female person knowing that I got here with my own hard work, so I am going to get to the top with my own hard work. Oh yes, it was about you being in a position of power and making decisions. So you get to a position of power where you actually you want to change a policy, but they don't let you change that policy because they're going to be like, you don't represent anyone. But the fact that you are there means that you are representing another female person out there, and that is a fact without a breach or whatever that people have to notice. In as much as I do not have a constituency, I am a female who represents other females because we go through the same thing, and they have to listen.
Exactly. And I really want to highlight what you said about gatekeeping positions and how women end up in a compromised situation, and really we do not have to judge women at times for the decisions they make to get where they are because of the unjust systems that are already present that prevent them from being able to get there the right way. So really about the gatekeeping, it's real and it happens a lot. even in the little things, it's there. Somehow you just have to believe that you don't deserve it, and you need to do something. You need to offer your body, and it always comes back to your body. It always comes back to how your only value or your only worth is in your body, and it's, you don't have any intellectual value. It's just a body that needs to serve your male counterparts, and that's the only way in which you can be able to receive those favors in turn. And yeah, I think we need to really do away with gatekeeping. Somehow there needs to be policies and laws that actually ensure that there is fairness when it comes to acquisition of positions in different institutions and companies and in schools. Even in schools, there's this thing like where when they're choosing a head girl, the head girl has to be someone who is like maybe beautiful to people. People have to accept that the head girl is beautiful, you know. And if they choose a head girl that people don't think is beautiful, because of their own shallow definition of beauty, it then becomes like, why is the head girl, why this year like this? No, man, we have degraded as a school.
Yeah,
you know,
forget what she can do.
yes, we have degraded as a school. Look at the head girl. But honestly, are we looking at the role that she is there to play? Are we focusing on the main reason why she has been put to be a head girl? No, because in the first place, the quota system hasn't been designed to support women and girls' participation in leadership in all those spaces.
Yeah, it doesn't help to have a lounge in a house that has nice sofas, that offers people great tea and great cookies, if the rest of the house is in shambles. If the rest of the house is a prison that peddles oppression, that peddles disenfranchisement of girls, that peddles inequality against girls, abuse of girls, disrespect to girls, and the failure to accept and to see that girls have power, that girls have capability, mentally, physically, it does not matter. And we regret quota systems that are used to make us seem like we are trophies, because we are better than that. We can do so much more. Thank you so much for watching. We are amplifying girls' voices through digital arts, and you can let us know what you think about quota systems. And disclaimer, we're not here because of a quota system, but because we are girls with voices.
Thank you.
Thank you.